So we're just looking what I might carry working wise in my buoyancy aid for a day's paddle. So I've got one big central pocket here. Rather than loads, I just tend to make sure that it doesn't mean I carry too much stuff. It's nice and wide so I can access stuff really easy. I'm just going to pull it out as I find it, to be totally honest. I've got an emergency card here with a VHF and a mobile phone procedure, just to remind me. Often giving these out to my students, so they ever have to make a call, it's an aid memoir they can follow, either a mobile or a VHF. When things start to go wrong, you just need something to calm you down, and this helps you run through a procedure. I've got a Tidal plotter, which is a fairly simple thing, so if I'm navigating I can just take bearings fairly quickly off the map, convert those to a compass that might be on the front of my deck. Yeah, it's nice and stiff, it's a small size. It's also got measuring distances, be it an Ordnance Survey map or a chart on either side. That's quite a nice bit of kit. You can actually use it as an emergency patch as well. You've got a bit of duct tape, you can bang that on a crack, tape it in, it's flexible plastic. And then I always carry a bit of string. Yeah, not a long piece, but you just can repair loads of things with just a little bit of string. That just seems to have followed my buoyancy around over the years. I'll prop that down there. And the one flare I do carry on me is a day-night flare. So you've got a sort of two bites at the cherry with this. So it's a red flare, yeah, and it's also a smoke. So one would be at night, one would be during the day. If it's dark and you can't tell which one it is, the knobbles on the actual cap tell me this is a red flare, so I use that at night. So I couldn't work out which end to do it. That always stays on me, so if I'm in the water, if I'm separated from my boat, I see the cavalry come in the distance, I've got the choice of red flare or smoke, and they can pinpoint me, because all I will be is a football size object in the water, and that's all they'll see, just my head. So that stays on me at all times. I've got a notepad. Sorry. I've got a notepad just to allow me to write down some information about the day trip I'm doing. Also probably use that a little bit when I'm coaching. Delving a bit deeper, I've got a couple of whistles actually. A whistle is a really cheap, useful tool to have if you're trying to attract attention. You know, if you're waving your arms on the sea, people might not recognise that. If you start blowing a whistle really hard, then somebody will figure that something's gone wrong. And if you can't call for attention, then they can certainly raise the alarm with a whistle. So I think it's a brilliant bit of kit that's super cheap. I've got a little bit of wax here, surf wax, which I tend to use if I want to wax my paddle up to give myself a little bit grip, but I can keep a lighter grip with my hands. So especially if I'm going to play in a tide race, I can just rub this over it and I've got a really good grip, especially if I've been putting suntan lotion on. It's useful for other few things. If your cockpit rim's coming off, you can wrap it around that, and if you're carrying a boat, you can rub it under the bow to mean you can lift the boat by the bow without it falling to bits. Where else have we got? And I've got a little tiny model here I use for coaching. Yeah, and that's about it. That's what I'd carry in my buoyancy aid during the day. So the other thing I would have with me would be probably I'd have a VHF, to be honest. The mobile I would probably carry, but I might carry that in a day bag, a dry bag. So I'd probably use that on the shore more to maybe call the Coast Guard. This is my working communication on the sea, really. VHF, floating VHF, this one. It's a fairly simple VHF. I've gone for more complicated ones. You just want to be able to speak to people, to be honest. And then the other advantage of this is that if I have to call for help with this, it's not a one-to-one conversation like this is. So if I'm using this, I'm talking to the Coast Guard, they're talking to me, but nobody else is hearing me. Here, if I'm on channel 16 and I put out a mayday, any vessel within my vicinity will have channel 16 on, and if they hear that, they can probably get to me quicker than a lifeboat or possibly a helicopter. So it's just a very useful bit of kit to carry. That would probably sit in here with the antenna up, and with the zip, I would just then seal it so this is sticking up this way. And I can hear traffic as well. So if I'm crossing a channel, then I can hear any boats coming through, and I might call on the VHF to warn them that I'm out there, especially somewhere out here where we're crossing a tidal channel.